So this section is going to be on doing some graffiti. As you can see, this car is already weathered, so all that's really left is to tag it, and I'm going to try a couple different techniques on it. There's different ways to do it. You can use decals, although I don't really like commercial decals myself because, you know, chances are whatever tag you use is going to be rolling around on somebody else's car too. So on one side of the car, I'm going to do it freehand with a combination of techniques, and on the other side of the car, I'm going to use a decal that I made myself. Okay, so these are some graphics I created on the computer and printed out on Walther's decal paper. I printed them on my laser printer, which works fine. I don't have a color laser, so it's pretty much just black. But still, you can do a lot with black, so I'm going to use this middle one here. And what I'm going to do is I've got it actually over a piece of backing paper, and I'm going to cut out around the edge of the graphic as carefully as I can here. Okay, so I've cut out my decal, and the reason I was cutting it on backing paper is I want to try to use this as a mask. Only the black is going to show, basically. All the rest is going to be clear. So I want to spray some color in the background. So I'm going to try to use this paper as a mask on the car. I'm going to take this mask, kind of put it where the decal is going to go. Try to crease it so we get over this little seam in the car here. And tape it down on the edges. I'm going to have to be careful when I airbrush because this isn't that tight. But if there's a little overspray, that's not actually so bad because a lot of tags look like that anyway. I'll hold this down while I spray just because it's not sealed. This is just polyscale reefer white. So I've got a different color now. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a graduated effect. I'm going to do a different color along the bottom here. So now we can take this off. I got a nice background for where the decal's going to go. So before I put a decal in here, I'm going to have to clear coat it with some gloss. This is micro gloss, put out by Microscale. I'm going to coat the area where the decal is going to go with some microset. Decals on the Walther's decal paper pretty much work just like Microscale or any other decals. The only thing about these is that they tend to be a little bit fragile, so I usually try to wet it and then kind of set it where it's going to go, and then when it's ready, slowly work the backing paper out from under it. So this is basically loose on the backing sheet, so what I'm going to try to do is hold down one end and just ease the backing sheet out carefully. Try not to rip it. I can kind of work it in to its final position. If it doesn't move, I can use a little more microset. Keep it wet until it's where I want it. So now that this is pretty much where I wanted, I'm going to start putting some microsol on the top of it to help fix it in place. After studying a lot of pictures, I've noticed there's lots of different kinds of tags. There's basically some that are open, which by that I mean it's just like somebody wrote on the car, and then there's others that are filled in with a color like the one I did on the other side. A lot of times they're based on either white or black, so I'm going to do one of each. And you don't have to have an airbrush. I'm going to do this with just a brush. I'm going to start by just painting an area where I want to put a tag with some white paint. So now I've finished painting the white, and it's not an incredibly great paint job, but that's okay. It'll look alright when I'm done. Now I'm going to go over to a different spot on the car and do some black. Okay, so a lot of times these black tags, I've noticed they use white as an outline. So I'm using a white prismacolor pencil. Just going to draw on it. So I'm going to use black as an outline color on this white tag. I'm not really fond of graffiti, but I've looked at a lot of photos of train cars, and a lot of it is completely incomprehensible. So if what you're doing, doesn't make sense, it's probably okay anyway. I'm just making these up right now. You can, of course, copy real tags if you want to. I prefer to kind of create something that looks reasonably like a real tag, but isn't. Kind of figure real taggers just go and draw whatever they want on the car, so if I'm doing that too, it's kind of prototypical anyway. And besides, I figure that way you're not perpetuating some gang's cryptic message, which I'd really rather not do. A lot of tags also have like a little halo around them, so I'm going to use a bright green color to do that. One thing I like about the pencils is they give you kind of a soft edge, so if you scale that down, it looks a lot like a spray can would look. On the white tags, if you want to add some additional color, you can do that with the pencils also. Some of them have some shading on the inside, so I'm going to do a little of that. Kind of moving the pencil around in little tiny circles because it gives it that look like somebody had a spray can and was trying to paint a big area in a hurry. Can also, for no particular reason, add little colored dots. Okay, so the other kind of tag is just the open type, where someone's taken a brush or spray paint and just drawn on the car basically. The other thing you can do is if you use kind of a medium gray, especially on a car like this that's gray, you can have kind of this faded remnant of something that used to be there. You can also use the pencils for small little tags too.